The kitchen is dark and the house is quiet, and you are standing at the counter with your phone glowing in your hand. There is a message waiting for you. It is an ordinary request, the kind that has only ever had one answer. Yes, of course. Don't worry, I'll sort it. You can feel the old reply assembling itself, smooth as a door swinging on a familiar hinge. Your thumb is already moving. And then you pause. Something in you, quiet, unhurried, strangely calm, doesn't want to say it this time. Not because the person asking has done anything wrong, not because you've stopped caring, but because the answer belongs to someone you are no longer quite being. Perhaps you felt this pause elsewhere lately, before an apology you didn't owe, before explaining a decision you already knew was right, before agreeing to something you would once have accepted automatically. The words were ready, and some deeper part of you set them down. This is the threshold. It rarely announces itself. It looks like a kitchen before dawn, a message half answered, a hand hovering above the old automatic yes. Stay here for a moment. Nothing has to be decided yet. It only has to be noticed. And let one thing be said plainly. You are allowed to become new. You are allowed to become new without explaining it to everyone who knew you before. There was a time when the old answer was the right one. That is worth remembering gently. The self you are outgrowing was not a mistake. It was an achievement. Somewhere, years ago, you looked at the world you had been given and worked out what it required of you. Perhaps it required agreeableness, and so you became agreeable. Perhaps it rewarded reliability, and so you became the dependable one, the one who never needed much, the one who said yes before the question had fully finished. Perhaps peace was fragile in the rooms where you grew, and so you learned to keep it. You learned to anticipate needs, soften conflict, make yourself easy to love because easy felt safer than seen. None of this was weakness. It was intelligence. It was a young person building shelter out of whatever the weather allowed. And the shelter worked. It taught you how to survive uncertainty by becoming useful, predictable, undemanding. If you look closely at who you used to be, you will not find someone foolish. You will find someone trying, with everything they had, to protect something precious. The precious thing was you, so hold this softly. What became a cage was once a shelter. The walls you now feel pressing inward were raised by your own younger hands, with love, for reasons that made sense at the time. You are not escaping something worthless. You are leaving a house that can no longer contain who you are becoming. Think of it for a while as exactly that. A house. Every role you learned has a room in it. The agreeable one keeps a tidy sitting room where almost nothing difficult is said. The peacekeeper stands at the window, reading the sky for storms. For years, you moved through these rooms without noticing them. They were simply where life happened. It is only recently that you have begun to feel the ceilings. You know the signs. The laughter that comes out slightly performed, the yes that makes your chest tighten while your mouth is still shaping it, the conversation you leave feeling oddly scattered, as though some part of you spent the whole hour standing guard. There may be a relationship you still tend faithfully, yet each meeting leaves you depleted, a responsibility you accepted years ago that nobody thought to ask whether you still wanted, a version of yourself you can perform perfectly. You know all the lines, and somewhere in the middle of the performance, you notice you are no longer inside it. At first this feels like restlessness, but beneath the restlessness is recognition. Something that once fitted you now requires you to contract in order to remain inside it. The house is the same. You have simply become someone it was never measured for. Then comes one of the strangest parts of changing, the conversations you hold before they happen. You lie awake drafting explanations, how you will justify the leaving, how you will deliver the new no so gently that nobody feels its edges. You gather your reasons like documents. You rehearse your becoming as though it were a case to be argued before a panel who must be satisfied before anything is allowed to change. Beneath all that preparation lives a quiet belief. I am allowed to change once everyone understands why. Let that belief loosen. There are times when explanation is a gift, an act of love offered freely to people who have earned your openness. But explanation changes when it becomes a request for permission, when you already know. Your evolution does not require unanimous approval. It never did. There is a particular relief the day you allow a decision simply to stand without submitting the paperwork. Here is the ache at the center of all this. Human beings carry two longings at once. We long to become, and we long to belong. For much of a life, these can walk together. But in seasons of real change, they sometimes pull in opposite directions. You may know exactly what you need and still crave the old world's blessing upon it. You may want the new life with your whole heart and still grieve the recognition you received in the old one, the way certain faces lit up at a version of you that you can no longer afford to be. You may miss someone deeply without missing who you became in their presence. You may love people who cannot follow you into every room you are learning to enter. None of this is hypocrisy. It is simply a person standing in a doorway, loving what lies behind them and needing what lies ahead. So let yourself hold both. Growth and grief can share a room. Love and distance can share a lifetime. Gratitude and completion can be spoken in the same breath about the same people, and both can be true. The hearth is real, and the horizon is real. You are not betraying one by turning towards the other. While the mind argues its cases, the body has been keeping quieter records. Begin to read them. Some choices leave you scattered. You replay conversations. You search for an interpretation that would let you return to what is familiar without admitting it no longer fits. Other choices, often the frightening ones, leave something different behind. Your breathing deepens, your shoulders drop. The inner negotiating becomes quieter. You may still be afraid, but underneath the fear there is steadiness. The body is not an infallible oracle. It carries old alarms and sometimes rings them for things that are merely unfamiliar. But it is an intimate witness. Learn to tell the two discomforts apart. There is the sharp, temporary discomfort of doing something new. And there is the dull, accumulating depletion of abandoning yourself one more time. The first often fades and leaves you larger. The second lingers and leaves you less. This is where your standards begin to change, not as commandments. You notice them in what you can no longer comfortably tolerate. The conversation that once seemed normal now exhausts you. The chaos you once called excitement begins to feel expensive. The apology that once escaped automatically now catches somewhere behind your teeth. And slowly, you stop measuring every choice by how little disappointment it causes other people. A different question begins appearing. How will I feel after this? Not during the moment of approval. Afterwards, when the room is empty, when the phone is dark. Does this choice leave you steadier, or scattered, more present, or absent from yourself. Small questions. They can change a life. The new self does not arrive with ceremony. It arrives through ordinary choices almost nobody else will notice. You protect an unclaimed hour. You decline something without building scaffolding around the no. You keep a promise you made privately to yourself. You choose rest without earning it. You stop treating your attention as though it were endlessly renewable, because it is not. Your attention belongs to the life you are trying to build, to people who meet you rather than merely use what you provide, to work that leaves something living behind, to whatever returns you to yourself rather than continually requiring your disappearance. From the outside, these choices look like almost nothing. A short reply, an early night, a closed door. From the inside, they are evidence that you have begun taking your own life seriously. And then the guilt arrives, often quickly. You feel selfish. You replay what you said, editing it softer with every pass. You picture the other person's disappointment and feel tempted to reverse everything, not because the decision was wrong, but because the discomfort of the new is louder tonight than the slow depletion of the old. Be gentle here. The guilt is not a verdict, it is residue. The emotional echo of an old rule. Keeping everyone comfortable is how I remain safe. Taking up less space is how I remain welcome. Those rules protected you once. They are simply out of date. An old rule can still fire long after the room it belonged to has changed. You can feel the reflex move through you without handing it the keys. You can even answer it kindly. I hear you. We don't live there anymore. Now let this become tender, because there is grief inside becoming. The person you are leaving behind carried you for years. They survived rooms you no longer have to enter. They learned whole languages of appeasement and vigilance when peace was scarce. They were frightened more often than they admitted, and they did their best. You do not have to hate your old self in order to outgrow them. Contempt is not the price of admission to a new life. You can look back at that earlier self the way you might look at an old photograph of someone dear, with affection, with sorrow, with respect for what they endured, and still choose not to move back into their life. Letting go of yesterday is not demolition. It is closer to laying down armor, piece by piece, with gratitude, because the war it was made for is over. There is a stretch of road few people warn you about, the passage between identities. The old life has loosened its hold, but the new one has not yet gathered around you. It can be lonely there. People continue responding to the person you used to be, kindly, even lovingly, and every time it happens, you feel a small dissonance, like hearing your own name pronounced slightly wrong. Certain relationships turn oddly formal, as though a translator has quietly left the room. Some people may even resist, not necessarily because your growth is wrong, and not always because they are cruel. Sometimes a relationship has quietly organized itself around a role you are no longer willing to play. Your availability, your silence, your willingness to carry the extra weight. When the role changes, the relationship has to change with it. Some will not. And in the low hours, before the birds begin, you may wonder whether becoming more yourself has somehow made you harder to reach. Hear this clearly. The absence of immediate recognition does not make the transformation unreal. Your inner life will often change long before your surroundings learn how to meet it. Seasons work this way. The sap moves in the darkness of the branch long before a single leaf appears. There may be a stretch where you are the first person required to recognize yourself, where you greet the new one alone each morning, where you vouch for them, where you keep them company until the rest of your life learns their name. That is not failure. That is simply the order in which becoming happens. And then, gradually, a different kind of belonging begins to find you. You notice people around whom your no endangers nothing, rooms you can enter without shrinking in the doorway first, conversations in which curiosity replaces performance, people who do not require the edited version, opportunities that do not ask you to abandon your standards as the price of admission. This belonging is quieter than the old kind. It asks less of you and somehow holds more of you. It has the particular warmth of being recognized rather than approved of. Once you have felt the difference, it becomes difficult to mistake one for the other. As your standards rise, some doors close, but the doors that remain begin to fit the person actually walking through them. And here is the gentle secret underneath it all. This deeper belonging could not fully reach you while the role kept arriving first. Real belonging requires that the person who arrives is actually there. When you stop sending the performance ahead of you into every room, you become findable. The door you finally walk through is the same door through which others can now walk towards you. Beneath everything, beneath the leaving, the guilt, the grief, the slow gathering of a truer life, something else has been quietly under construction. Not confidence. Confidence is weather. This is climate. Call it self-trust, the deep, accumulated evidence that you will remain with yourself. A boundary trembles and still holds. Guilt arrives and you survive it without undoing the choice. A promise made privately begins to mean something because you keep it. And eventually, your center of gravity begins to move inward. Your yes means yes more often. Your no requires fewer paragraphs. The standards you once had to defend become simply how you live. The energy once spent negotiating against yourself becomes available for your work, your creativity, your rest, your friendships. You become more present because less of you is occupied with managing the consequences of being somebody you are not. There are moments when the next step feels almost obvious, not because the future is certain, because your own position within it is becoming clearer. You know what matters, you know what costs too much, you know what leaves you intact. Transformation is rarely a grand gesture. More often, it is the accumulation of moments in which you stop voting against yourself, and over time, something settles. You no longer need to announce your transformation because you are too busy living from it. A lamp does not argue for its light, it burns, and the room changes. Before we return to the doorway, there is something worth doing here, in this hour, in this body. Place a hand over the center of your chest. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the warmth beneath your palm, and into that warmth, invite one former version of yourself, perhaps the one who kept everyone happy, perhaps the one who chased approval across whole years, perhaps the one who survived by disappearing. Let them appear without judgment, their posture, their carefulness, their tired and loyal eyes. Then, quietly, offer them this. Thank you for bringing me this far. A breath. You were trying to protect me. Another breath. You do not have to carry me anymore. And finally, as gently as a door unlatching, I am allowed to become new. Nothing dramatic needs to happen. This is not a banishment. It is a retirement offered with honor. A young keeper of your life, thanked at last, and relieved of the watch. And so you are standing at the threshold again, where we began. The kitchen is still dim, but less so now. The first grey of morning has entered the window without asking permission. Your phone is still there, the message is still waiting, and perhaps the remarkable thing is that the world has not changed at all. You have. Behind you is yesterday. Look at it honestly, one more time. It is not evil. It is not meaningless. It is a house you once needed. There was warmth in that house. There were memories in that house. There may have been love. All of that is true, and none of it is a reason to stay. Ahead of you is something less certain and more honest. You may still feel fear at the edges of it. You may still hear old voices asking for explanations. You may feel the gravity of familiar rooms that already know your shape. That is all right. You were never required to become fearless. Unfamiliarity is not always a warning. Sometimes it is simply the sensation of entering a life you have never inhabited before. The strange, clean air of a room where nobody has asked you to be smaller. You do not need your past to approve of your future. That is the whole of it in the end. The old house cannot give that kind of blessing, and you have stopped asking it to. Your life will not become new all at once. It will become new in the next honest answer, the next protected hour, the next promise you keep to yourself, the next time guilt arrives and you let it pass without surrendering your ground. That is how the threshold is crossed, not once, but again and again, until one morning you look back and realize the doorway is far behind you. The door is open now. The morning light is already crossing the floor. The path begins just beyond the threshold, pale and quiet and unwalked. Step through. Thank you for watching and for walking this path alongside me. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. For high-resolution art, music, and full transcripts, consider joining me on Patreon. Until then, carry these reflections gently with you, and I hope to see you again in the next video.